So continuing on from where we left off, the next major thing to go at is basically the leg hole here. So I'm going to look at my area here, and I'm going to basically try to go from where I would call the pubic bone, which is just above the genital area here. And basically there's an inguinal ligament that runs from it to your ilium here, which is basically, you can touch it, that's the part that kind of sticks out at your hip. A lot of times when people grab hips, that's actually what you're grabbing, is right here, or you're grabbing the latissimus above it, okay? So anyway, or actually external obliques, I'm sorry. But anyways, we're going to grab the little bits there, and we're going to kind of, I'm going to model it kind of up and around to basically insinuate the inguinal furrow. Okay, so I'm looking at the business here, and I'm thinking I might need to add another edge loop. So I'm going to go ahead and use my multi-cut tool, and I'm going to go and click one here. Cute, and let me just see where that lines up. And okay, so I'm going to pull this up here, like there. I'm going to take this one and pull this one up too. I'll take both of them. Okay, so right about where the belt line would be to basically where the, like right above the pubic line, okay? That's more or less where I'm thinking. Let's just take this down a little bit. All right, I'm going to take this guy, and I'm extrude, Control E, W, and we're going to take this and pull it up, and let's go right about here. Okay, E, I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to look at the side here. And we'll pull it this way a little bit, not too crazy. Rotate it this way just a touch. And there's one. And I'll hit G, since the last thing I did was extrude, pull it up and over. And this one, I'm going to go ahead and pull it right up to the bits here. And let's look at here. And I'll take this guy, and let's see. We'll pull it right up. I'm going to pull it right to right where I think the hip line would be. And I'm going to rotate it, and we're going to bring it up and over, and and let's see, does that look okay? We'll go with that, and I'll hit G, since this is the last thing I did, repeats the last executable action. And I'll look at the side view here. I'm going to kind of pull this guy down. Alright, and we'll go, there's really not that much help on the front view there, so I'm just going to kind of do the best I can. You know what I'll do? I'll look at this, and that's pretty comparable to the back. So I'm going to take it like this, and I'm just actually, I have this little line right here. I'm just going to bridge it right to that. So I'm going to grab this one, have both of these selected, and hit bridge. Boom. All right. So there we go. Now we got that bridging across. That's looking all fine and dandy. And that's basically where our genitals and the leg region will come out. Let's go ahead and just do the neck, which really isn't quite as important as the rest of it, but why not? Okay. So we need to make our collar. So I'm looking at that, and that is basically this area right here. So I'm going to go to face. I'm actually going to take this and just delete it. I don't need that anyway. And what I'm going to do is go ahead, insert edge loop, and I'll put one here. I'm going to grab an edge here, and I will hit Control E, W, and I'm going to look at the front view here. Kind of pull it up and over, and I'll rotate it out this way, and kind of pull it up and over. All right. Look at this view here, and I'll pull it back here, and I'm going to rotate it this way, and let's see. Okay, and we're gonna, I think it needs to be more shallow, more like that. All right, that looks like a thing. And I'll hit G, W, pull this back and over, put this right at the halfway marker, roughly-ish. So I'll put it here, and I'm going to rotate it like this. Look at it here, and, you know, I'm just going to grab the verts and do it this way. So we'll just look at it like that, and like this. Alright, and let's just take these guys. Alright. And let's look at it here. And we'll just kind of go like that. Go to edges, good, and Control E, W, pull it back and over. And basically this is going to be the halfway mark in the back end here. Rotate this sideways. And just going to kind of do the best I can with what I got. Alright, and we'll just, like so. And I'm just going to go edge and hit the bridge. Bam. Okay. So now basically I got sort of this weird, and if I hit 3, you can kind of see this weird sort of thing going on. Okay. That's meant to more or less represent kind of the basics of the body. Alright. These are kind of hard things. I'm going to hit 1 again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up to do a duplicate special so that I can just flip this. So I'm going to go to Edit, Duplicate Special, hit the option box. I want you to go ahead and do Instance. Parent, I don't really care about any of these, but parent we'll just go with. And all this should be 0. The scale should be 1, except the first one should be -1, which is it goes X, Y, Z. So it'll be -1 and X. Number of copies is 1, and then hit Duplicate Special. And basically now I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Now every time I do it, when I hit Control-Shift-D instead of just Control-D, it's going to make an instance. And the reason why an instance is better is that when I do something on one side, it's going to do it on the other. All right. So that's useful. All right. So now I'm going to go on this, and now if I hit 3, you'll see. Let me turn wireframe on shaded, and also turn off the grid. You can see how this is starting to kind of look like a body, right? We're kind of getting that shape, and it has that nice kind of organic thing going on. All right. So a lot of what it is now is trying to clean up some of this other stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and basically try to do the other side of this arm here, so that I can have the arm come out. And then we can kind of work on the leg so that we have a leg for the hole, or a hole for the leg. Because right now, if you look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means I have 6 on this other side. So that means there's 12, which isn't actually a number I really would like. But I would like to have 8 at least coming out for this part here. And currently, that's not what's happening. So we're going to make basically where the arm's going to come out. So I'm going to select, let's see. What we will do is this. I need the arm to come out of here. I am going to select this, and I'm also going to select this one. So this right, if you remember, is right at the peak. It's right where the middle of the arm is. This edge loop right there. So I'm going to select either end of this, and I'm actually going to go ahead and bevel it. So it just cuts halfway in between. And I'm going to go to this edge, and I'm going to extrude this one out. Control E. W, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to go right to where the halfway mark is of where I think the arm, so like this is the top peak, this will be the bottom peak, should be, so we'll say here, and I'm just going to make sure it looks okay on this side, and it does not, as I would expect, so kind of pull that in. This is basically should be right where like the rib cage stuffs is. So I got this section, Q. And I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to go ahead and hit bridge. All right, so now we got this little quad hold here that's going to come out. But I can add edge loop here, and 1, 2, 3, 4. If I subdivide this, that will give me a nice little hole for that to come out of, and that makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Okay, so that should suffice for that. It needs a little more love, but that's a beginning. All right, now, kind of a similar thing with the leg here. I would be nice to have a little more of a buttocks here. I'm not so worried about the crotch area, but the butt needs to be maybe a touch more than what it currently is. So I'm going to go ahead and look into doing that. Let's say I take this one. Let's take this one and what is it currently? I'm just going to double click, and that gives me, so I can count, but I'd rather not have to do that. So I'm going to go to display. I'm going to do heads up display, and we're going to go to poly count, and that's going to tell me that currently I have 16, which means that it is currently 8, which is a decent number, which is kind of a number I like. So I would like to kind of keep that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and extrude. So I double clicked, I hit extrude. And then I'm going to W. I'm going to move this kind of down and over. And it's going to look terrible at first. I'm going to hit E. And I'm going to go to a front view here so I can kind of control this a little bit better. But basically, I want to make a line that goes like this, just like our underwear line, because that's how the leg is inserted into this. So I'm going to hold D. And I'm going to move my pivot kind of where I want it to be, which is right here. That's roughly around the line of the leg. And then I'm also going to rotate this like this, so it's flat across that line. Because what that's going to allow me to do now is if I hit R, I can scale it flat across that. Okay, that's basically what my goal was. Now I'm going to go to vertices, and I will try to fix some of this. I can see like my crotch here can be a little bit lower, and we will try to grab some of these other pieces here to help support some of this other stuff. It's a little bit difficult because obviously I'm trying to think about anatomy, but at the same time, like, obviously I'm wearing pants and things, so that's not like 100% the same. So, you know, gotta take that into account. All right. That looks like something. So, yeah, there's leg holes. Those are leg holes. And let's go ahead. I'm just going to, while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead. We'll leave that one alone. All right. I'm going to go ahead and subdivide this now. Because right now, if I double click on this, you're going to see I'm going to get 8. And it's only giving me 8 because it's doing this side and this side. So I need to be 16. So I got to subdivide it. So I'm going to use my Insert Edge Loop tool. I'm going to click here, 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 and here. Okay. And basically, so I cut it all the way in halves. What I'm going to do is just try to round this out as best as I can to basically support my arm coming out of this area. Okay. As best as I can. Right now, it's not really a good shape for it, you know. I'm just gonna hit after frame. All right, looks crap. It's hard to do there. So just gonna try and do what I can here, and we're gonna pull that in, and let's pull it in this way. A lot of micromanagement, but that's not a terrible start. Come on, in a little, put out a touch. All right, that's something. All right, so grab this one. Oops, we'll go. I'm gonna do is see what we have here. I'm gonna click here, hold Shift, double click here, and it says I have 12, right? So I need that to be 16, which basically means I need to do 2 more cuts. So I'm just going to decide where I think those will make the most sense, and I am going to go ahead and just take this one and this one on either side of my center line. I'm just going to hit bevel, like so, and I'm going to change the fraction up a little. Well, crap. All right, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to use the slide edge. So you just go to Mesh Tools, Slide Edge, middle mouse button, click and drag. I'm going to click on this one, middle mouse button, click and drag. Click on this one, middle mouse button, click and drag. I'm just trying to spread them out here. So now if I were to double click on this, oops, hold Shift, double click, you can see I get 16, right? Which is good. If I click on this, hold Shift, double click, and I'm getting, oh, sorry, 1, 2, well, we'll just count because it's not going across the way I want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so I got too many this way, but that's at least a start. And so I can start kind of trying to think about how I want all of this to connect. But it's getting there. All right. And if I hit 3, you can see I'm getting even closer to my shape now. I got this area here, which is a little love, but we'll kind of get there. All right. And now I can kind of figure some of this out. So I'm going to go ahead and click here to here and hit bridge, and then I'm looking at let's see, here to here. I'm gonna hit G since the last thing I did, and we'll go from, this is like a center part to this center part, G, and this is the other side of that center part, G, and let's see, we'll go from here to here, G. You're gonna see we're gonna have some areas of problems, but it's an okay start. Here to here, G. I'm just trying to do the easy ones that are clearly like the center ones. G, and we'll go here to here, G, and here to here, G. Okay, so the rest of them are up for grabs, but at least we have a basic shell, and we'll fix and we'll divert things as we need to make the rest work.